Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Wasn't the music I thought of, but it worked, I guess.
Well, did you hear any music? I didn't hear any music. Did you? I didn't see anything. So
Wow.
evidently, the video is not playing correctly into the.
It attempted to play twice. Hey man, maybe the
Anyway,
video didn't want to have a gig today, bruh.
I guess not, man. You know, they don't want us to represent like we normally do.
Exactly. But we here.
It's cold-blooded, but we are here.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody?
What's happening? Local Musicians XP.
We are here for our regular Tuesday night. Chop it up Tuesdays.
Yes, sir.
So we will see what other ghostly. Well, it is Halloween month, so
yeah, that's your birth month, right? Aren't you born in October?
I was, but do you believe in ghosts?
Hey man, I don't test things like that, bro.
You from New Orleans?
That's exactly why I don't test anything like that, bro.
You from New Orleans, man? Y'all have more voodoo, hocus pocus.
Oh, it's ingrained in the culture, bro. It really is.
So my question is, do you believe in that stuff?
Well, let's just say it like this. If there was a ghost in my house, he better pay some bills, bro. Just say it like that.
How you gonna make
no free rides in his house?
How you make a ghost pay bills, man?
He better scare up some money.
Will they there?
Right,
so right. That's all I know. That's all I know.
You better bring some money to the crib, bro. You got to get out, man. I'm sorry.
There's some crazy superstitions about New Orleans. Are any of them true?
What you got? You got the spaghetti sauce thing? Is that one? Don't date a girl who
yes. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yes. So is that true?
My grandmother told me not to do it, so I never did.
So wait a minute. So she told you never let a female.
If you go to a female's house for a first date or something, and she makes spaghetti sauce for you,
right?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing that a woman could do during a certain time of the month that would, coupled with a couple of spells, would get you sprung for the rest.
Okay,
of your
life. So is it the control? They'd be able to control you, kind of thing.
Yes. Is it true? I don't know, because I never tested the theory, bro.
And you don't know anybody that ever happened to?
I know plenty of people that got little issues, like they look like they were controlled by a chick, so maybe it could have happened. I don't ask no questions, bro. Like, I gotta use your thing. I don't want no problems, bro.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I've heard of the whole I'm gonna put a root on you, all kind of stuff, man. Yeah. So but anyway.
Yeah, a mutual friend of ours, like he was going through a little ceremony, if you will. And he said, "Hey man, I'm a Christian. I got to get out of here."
Hey, but that stuff that's Santa. I can't even. As much as I've studied those rhythms and stuff like that, I can't. Santeria.
Yeah,
but that's not. Well, is that New Orleans? That's more like.
Hey, New Orleans got.
I guess it's no. I take that back. There is a big. There's
and Haiti, right?
Yeah, right. You're right. So there's
all those French.
There's a big
and Spanish populations.
Right. That's right.
Anywhere sugar was, that you're gonna have that. Sugar is in the Caribbean. Sugar is in Louisiana production. Any of those refining with sugars, bro.
Right. Yeah. That's true. Okay.
You had any interesting gigs this past weekend, bro?
Man, let me see. We did Friday was with the Mike Veal band. Actually, yeah, we played at Avalon up in Alpharetta.
Okay.
And Oh, that's actually the last one of the season. It's an outdoor kind of concert, kind of thing, and we play for a couple hours. Huge crowd out there Friday night, man.
Right.
But man, I tell you, my car had
It went
issues
out?
again, man. Same thing. So car cuts off, kind of just as I'm getting off the exit.
You drifting, bro? Like the Isley
It
brothers?
was drifting, same thing. Also, so get up to the where we unload. Won't start. I'm like, oh man, I gotta call AAA, do all this stuff, man. Do the gig, get back in the car. Car starts right back up. So evidently, whatever alternator that I've been buying that I bought is not good for the Honda Pilot. So I went to see my man today. He was like, man, you got to get I can't remember which brand he told me to get, but
right.
So it's just some of these cars are they just finicky, man, with what they like. But other than that, man, everything was cool. We went up to Dahlonega on Sunday, got away a little bit, hung out up there.
Happy anniversary, by the way,
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And that was about it, man. What about you?
Man, I think I just had one gig by design too, but it was it was Saturday night, was a jam session.
And, oh yeah, that's right.
I had to run part of it. And it's nothing worse than working the crowd to see if they're gonna play or sing or something like that. It's just it's a whole different thing, and it makes, I know that they know they're coming out to sing something, but they make you feel like, or play something, but they make you feel like you have to twist their arm to do it. I don't know if I'm gonna do something. I was like, well, just let me know. Then they stop me. Yeah, but do you know such and such? Yeah, well, are you gonna sing it? I don't know. You think I should? I was like, man,
they want you to beg them, man.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know you. They don't want me to beg you.
It's like, man, if you want to sing, if you want to play, come on up. If not, leave me alone.
I saw a guitar player. I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna go up and ask him. He doesn't have an amp or anything like that. I'm not gonna even ask him, bro. Can I plug into your amp?
Of course. Sure.
Right.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No problem.
Right.
Guys, man. So we got some a little bit of house cleaning to do. Please, if you like us, go on YouTube, follow us, subscribe to our channel. We are also we have a Facebook page and Instagram. You can like us on that. Also on YouTube, hit the subscribe button so you will know that when we go live or when we drop a new episode. We are currently in the middle of editing some new stuff, so we'll have some. We haven't dropped anything in a couple weeks, but with the YouTube working now, all of these streams are going to go. They go directly to YouTube in the live category, so they're already going to be up there. So all the streams are already there. We don't have to edit the stuff anymore, and process it and put it through the all of that, man, which takes forever. So with the YouTube working now, they're in the live category. You have to go to the live category, and everything that we do live here will be on YouTube.
I feel like we're going out for the Grammys or something in the live category.
That's right. We got man, about 5 different categories, but so yeah, and then we've got some super fans here. We've got our good friend Brad Thomas, who let me know personally.
Adrian.
Brad Thomas let me know personally that his computer internet was going to be out today, and that he was watching the show from his phone.
Okay.
I mean, that was just a generous thing to do. Let us know.
It really is.
So we have Brian Falgoo. See, I got it right. Falgoo says good evening. And then, oh, look who's back. Oh, this New York Knicks.
Man.
Oh,
I saw a lot of people make moves, bro, but Knicks stayed put, bro.
Well, when the basketball season starts soon, right?
Yep.
So,
couple of weeks.
Plenty of dunks on the Knicks are about to commence, as we all know. He said, started watching on him, saw Brian was so he moved here. All right. So, without further ado, we're going to bring on a cat that I know Tyrone Jackson has been waiting to get on this show because he is
so
a fellow
giddy. I might not even ask the first couple of questions.
So I already know that I can just leave after a certain period of time because I already know this is going to turn into a George Duke, seminar.
More people.
I already know where this is going.
We have more people. Why you have? Come on, man. Come on.
But y'all, I'm just prefacing. I'm not saying nothing wrong with it. I say
Drummers got feelings too, man. We're gonna include some drummer.
Well,
whatever y'all like to do. You know, match grip versus traditional grip. We can get into that too. You know what I'm saying? Y'all debates,
dude. Man, that's a funny debate too, man. Cats still think that that's like a real thing. I'm just like, wow. But anyway, so this cat, man, I would describe him as a bebop player in a rock and roll world. Is how I describe this cat. Yeah. That's how I describe him. Does that kind of make sense? Not that his aim is, and he, because his language, but he's got some of that language, but it's the state of mind and the thinking of how he plays and his commitment to excellence.
I think of him as a Swiss Army, a really good Swiss Army knife,
Well, that too, but I'm just trying to set up,
knife
a
is
little
sharp.
bit of,
you know what I'm saying? A knife is sharp, like a Swiss Army knife. One of them bad boys might be dull, you know what I'm saying? So this cat, all of his appendages, if you
they're all well sharpened. Let's just put it that way.
I like that, bro.
I call him he's a coffee connoisseur.
Oh no,
big time.
Do y'all argue about coffee?
We don't argue because we agree. We drink the same. We drink the same. I hipped him to CDM, bro, from your hometown.
Coffee?
From your hometown of New Orleans.
I like him even better now.
Okay, I hipped him to CDM.
Okay.
I would also describe him as a Georgia Bulldogs recruiting analyst, expert. He should actually be head of the recruiting department for the Georgia Bulldogs, because if they put this cat on the payroll, he would go around the country and scout talent for the Georgia Bulldogs. Cat knows what he's looking at. All right. Also, I would describe him one more thing, a Frank Zappa disciple. Okay.
Well, there you go.
And that's hardcore. So we have many sides to this guy, but he doesn't do a lot of interviews. So we're fortunate that he's coming on to
paid some money there, bruh.
Chop it up with us, because he does not do this. So with no further ado, our brother Tom Grose.
Hey,
what's up,
man?
How are you guys? Is this the love doctor? Because I like a girl who hates me. What should I do? Oh wait, wrong show. You were talking about that route in New Orleans. It's the John the Conqueror route, is it not? Is it that the what? Is that the one?
You know about all this stuff, right?
Yeah, well, it's a song. It's like in a Muddy Waters song called what is that song? I'm your hoochie coochie man.
Hoochie coochie man. Yep.
But my dad spent some time in New Orleans, and I was actually born in Brookhaven, Mississippi, which is halfway between Jackson and New Orleans.
Yes.
So I've got some of that in me.
You
in
Got
the
some of that
womb, I was
swamp in you,
experiencing
bruh.
the humidity for, you know,
Ooh,
my,
bruh, that humidity is not
for
nice,
9
man.
months. I experienced that humidity, man. That Mississippi blanket they put all over you every summer.
Yeah.
It's rough.
You gotta feel like you're taking 3 showers a day, bruh, with that humidity, man.
And you better be doing that because, you know, you're going to be offensive even if you're a little baby.
Look, see, you have that luxurious hair, but you know, chicks out there, bruh, they be trying to spray so much stuff to hold their hair in place.
Yeah.
Nothing happens, bruh.
I wish I had worn my hat, man. This is a hat show.
Hat show, man.
I was trying to find a wig to put on, man, because you just have iconic hair. And I was looking for the wig, and I asked my wife, I was like, where's that wig that you have? She's like, I don't know. She looked for it, but she had this curly wig, but I'm like, nah, that's not going. I even brought my glasses out, man, to wear the wig with the glasses, but I couldn't find
My hair
it.
is, yeah, you guys look great. My hair is hard to manage sometimes, especially in the winter when it gets dry. It just does that. You know, it's like helmet head. So you gotta
You the six
have
Beatles?
hair moisturizer and whatnot.
Right. But I can always tell. I can always tell how Tom is feeling musically. I mean, he's always off, but I can always tell if he's really feeling it or not by the hair, man.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an extension of your personality, which I must be insane.
Yeah.
I must be insane because it's an extension of your personality, man. But nice to see you.
Personality because I don't have any hair anymore. So, man.
See, that's a personality. That's a personality right there. You're an educator and a great musician. A great educator and a great musician. Okay, cool. Legendary. These two guys are legendary. I don't need to tell anybody who's watching this show that, so I don't mean to take over, but I'm talking to a couple of extremely proficient cats who could do anything.
Check is in the mail, bro. Check is in.
And it's really nice of you to have me on. And Chris Burrows, I appreciate your talk about bebop in a rock and roll world, because I think at this point in my life, and ever since I was probably 19 or 20, Charlie Parker is probably, I mean, he informed me. I learned everything I know about playing jazz up until, you know, fairly recently. I learned from transcribing the alto solo on Bloom Dito. And I transcribed it and I learned it. And it was like, man, this is where it is. And it became a very important part. That one solo informed me a lot about, you know, what happens and how you can apply it, because it's a blues tune, really. So you can apply that, the bebop, to those blues changes and know what works. You know, you don't just have to relegate yourself to a blues scale anymore. You can add things that make sense within the melodic and harmonic context of just a traditional 1-4-5 blues.
For people who's listening, how would you define bebop opposed to regular music? Like, what makes bebop so different?
Well, to me, jazz is modern jazz is based on it. You know, there's actually structure that's involved, and it involves everything that Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie and Thelonious Monk brought. You know, I think of bebop as a harmonic. I think about it harmonically, because there's a lot of different ways to approach notes chromatically.
Right.
You know, that, you know, you might not think of, like, within a blues context, utilizing the major seventh of the scale to get to the 1, or utilizing it to get to the 2, and then to go back to the 1. You know, all those different ins and outs. Right. And avoiding the 4th scale, to me, of the chord is very important.
Thank you for that.
You know, because
every note in the scale doesn't work, people.
It doesn't work, although Parker does employ the 4th tone in Bloom Dito.
Right.
It's very unusual.
But does he resolve it to 3, or he just holds it out there?
You know what's crazy? He holds it out there in the theme. In the theme is the last note. The 4 is the say. We're in the there's your tonic. Bow. It's like, what? But, you know, I thought that was verboten. But it's the last note of that theme. So to me,
how did
bebop
you?
is a harmonic. It's harmonics
Right.
for the most part, unless tempos can be extremely fast. They don't have to be, but those guys
Right.
would challenge each other
Right.
in order to prove points about their proficiency,
Right.
which people in the jazz world still seem to do quite a bit. But I'll just personally, I like sort of one chord things like Coltrane and Frank Zappa, and even Jimi Hendrix would like, and Duane Allman. That they like to get into some drone type stuff,
Right.
and a lot of that stuff makes sense with Mixolydian type scales, but you can add elements of the chromatic scale to that. If you know what you're doing harmonically and know how to shift around, if it's intentional, it can work. If you're just screwing around, it's going to sound terrible. But if you know what you're doing, you can do things. And I try not to overstep my knowledge. I never try to play anything outside my boundaries unless I go insane just for a moment for going insane's sake.
So how did
Is that a thing? Does jazz have that? Because I employ that. And if it's jazz, I'll keep doing it.
Well, how did Charlie Parker enter your life?
I was at the University of Georgia one night, and some friends were listening to jazz, and we would do that. Somebody put on a Charlie Parker record. I said, "That's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life." At the time, people were into Headhunters, and they were into Weather Report and Chick Corea with Return to Forever, and all kinds of progressive jazz type things. And Zappa was big at the time. Somebody put on a Charlie Parker record. It's like, I got to know how to do that a little bit. I need to know something about what that is.
Right.
And so one Christmas I was at home and I went down to the old record player, put it on 16, the 16 and a half setting, dropped it like in half, the speed in half, and sat there with a pencil and a piece of manuscript paper and transcribed what Charlie Parker had done, and then learned it up to tempo. And the song's in B flat, learned it in B flat, but spent enough time with it and sort of learned a little bit of the language in every key. And it just seemed like it felt like it should be second nature to me. I won't pursue anything if it feels like it's foreign, but bebop didn't seem foreign at all. It seemed like it was an integral part of my personality or my musical personality. And, Parker loved the classical guys. He loved Stravinsky. He loved Debussy. And he obviously liked Bach at some level because there's a lot of those kinds of resolutions and stuff.
Tom, you said something that young kids don't really understand. And when you have to use a tape recorder or something to slow down, they don't know about slowing down in the key changes and stuff like that, and how you have to do it like 16 times to make it match the key. Then it's going to get lower and you have to put your ear toward the speaker. Like, their technology now can do so much. And I'm like, well, why do y'all suck? If y'all have so much technology, we have to have our ear to the radio. The cassette tape player would play a half step higher than what it's supposed to be. Sometimes you have to learn in another key, write it out, and then transpose it. They don't know that struggle at all.
Yeah, and I think it's a valuable part maybe of getting the basis of your musicianship going, because you have to learn how to switch things up when you've made mistakes.
Right.
Doesn't seem like there's that many mistakes or something. People could just like boom, boom, boom. There it is.
Right.
I'm brilliant all of a sudden. And guys like me, I mean, guys like me, I struggle always to try to, if I'm playing a solo, I try to make it make sense. I don't just like, it's not just a random combination. I like to try to start somewhere and end somewhere.
Right.
And if I can do that, I've had a successful moment.
Right.
Anyway.
Go ahead, Chris. It's your turn, bro. Because I jumped in.
Oh, gee. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate I don't want to interrupt keyboard talk.
Man, I love Vinny Colaiuta a lot. He's one of the
So-
greats, man.
Did you like that record where Dave Weckl was on one side and
Here we go.
Man, that was great, man.
All right.
I like Acuna better. I like him the best. Well, I like Nadugu. Speaking of George Duke,
right?
Yes.
Weather Report. I
Well,
love
we're gonna
Nadugu.
go in. Let's save a little bit of that. Let's save.
All right.
So, all right. Let's go back. So you said you were born in Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
So when did you start playing, and what were you introduced to that made you want to start playing?
Well, my dad, he was a church musician. He was a minister of music, Baptist churches in the Southeast. And he was in Brookhaven, and then we moved to Tuscaloosa, which is why I like Alabama some, and the University of Alabama football program some. And in fact, he and Bear Bryant went to Tuscaloosa the same week. And Bear Bryant made the front page, and my dad made the back page.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Of the paper, at the very end, new minister of music at the Tabernacle Baptist Church. Oh, at the Calvary Baptist Church.
Oh,
But then we moved to Carrollton, Georgia, and then we moved to Decatur, Georgia, where my dad became the minister of music at the Baptist Tabernacle, which is now the Tabernacle concert venue downtown. The Tabernacle was once a Baptist church, and my dad was the minister of music there between 1962 and 1967. And so I know that building like the back of my hand, and I used to crawl around in the balcony and play and hang out in the Sunday school rooms and hang out on stage and listen to the organ. First time I got to go to big church, I was 4 years old. At night, usually the kids would have to go into the playrooms back in the back and hang out so they didn't create disturbances. But the first time I got to go to big church, I heard a fellow named Charles Waddy playing the postlude on a grand piano. Most beautiful thing I'd ever heard. I begged my parents, can we get a piano? I would love to learn how to play the piano. I mean, I said it in 4-year-old language, but that was the idea. I want to play the piano. Can we get one? Because this guy just was playing the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard. And, back then you didn't get rich in church music. Back then it was like a service, practically a service kind of a occupation. And so they said, well, we can't really afford to buy a piano, but we'll buy one on time if you will practice for 30 minutes every day before you go outside and play after school. And I said, sure, yes, I'll do that. Yep. And so they did it. They bought a piano, and after about 2 months, I wanted to go outside and play baseball and football with my friends and not practice anymore. And they held me to it. They said, nope, you made a deal with us, and we went into financial straits for you, and you're going to practice for 30 minutes before you do anything else. And it taught me a lesson, and I'm very thankful that they did that. So I took lessons until I was 15. And the whole time I was very interested in the Beatles. I don't know where I'm supposed to stop in any of this because I'll just go, man. I'll just go.
Keep going, brother. You got it.
At the time, I loved the Beatles, and I liked the Animals. I liked the Dave Clark Five, and I liked the Beach Boys, and I liked Stevie Wonder. And all through, about going through this is like the early 60s to mid 60s. And I'm also doing sports. I'm playing baseball. I'm playing football. I'm playing basketball in the, little league type situations. And so, but I'm still having to practice. So I quit when I was 15. But by that time, I had already started taking trumpet lessons in elementary school band. And I was learning how to play the guitar and the bass guitar, because my dad could play anything with strings. He could play banjo, fiddle, mandolin, guitar. And so I would learn all of Jack Bruce's bass guitar lines, the bass player for Cream. I learned all their stuff on my dad's acoustic guitar. And, just bass, because I couldn't play like Clapton because I didn't have the wrist strength to do his vibrato on a nylon string acoustic. So, you just can't do it. So guitar discouraged me for a long time. But bass was something I could get my so I played bass in my high school jazz ensemble, and also continued to play trumpet, and I played French horn and baritone horn and a little bit of baritone sax in the high school band. And then after that, I went to the University of Georgia, and I played in the Redcoat band, the marching band, and marched on that field and went, had all that fun. And then started playing gigs when I was 19 years old. And the first gig I did, was with some guys from the Red Coat Band. They went back to college, and I was making so much money, I stayed and played. And within a year, I was playing with a guy named Lattimore. Now, this is a long story, but Lattimore is a soul singer and blues singer. He's still doing it. But I knew some guys I was playing at the Rum Keg Lounge at the Fulton Industrial, Howard Johnson's. Okay. And these guys were put there by their manager, and they were living there. It was Lattimore's backup band, and they were living there. And they would come down and see this band that I was in play every night. This is 1976. And we got to know them really well, and got to be good friends, and went to their shows when they would be close by. Went to a show in Birmingham, show in Greenville, Lattimore shows, always on a bill with people like Denise LaSalle and, all those kinds of people, and Civic Centers in Augusta and whatever. So I just go hang out. The keyboard player, Mike Jones, left the band, and they recommended to Lattimore that I join the band. And so I joined the band, but it was very short-lived because I don't know what to say about it, but I didn't get fired or anything. The whole band quit, basically. Like very shortly. And so I said, well, this is who I joined to play with.
Right.
There was some financial stuff going on that was, at the time was not copacetic for those guys. And so that's who I wanted to play with, was those guys. Lattimore, man, what a singer and what a writer. That guy's one of the great unheralded geniuses of pop music.
I didn't even, I knew about Lattimore, but playing some gigs with Tom and with the Mike Veal band, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Tom does a couple of the Lattimore tunes.
Oh, which ones?
I do I do a bunch of them, actually. I Get Lifted, which was originally by
that is
his version of that is incredible. That is George McRae's song, the guy who did Rock You Baby, that guy. Right. But Lat did a cover of it. It's great. Something About You, It Ain't Where You've Been, It's Where You're Going.
Right.
And I've done Sweet Vibrations before. Okay. And Mike used to do Long Distance Love from the next album. But yeah, I'm a big fan of his, man. And
Chris, you can wear that, bro.
What a great singer.
You can wear that hair, bro.
Listen, man.
Lat, man.
This is
I played when we were
rated. We talk about what we call pimpology sometimes. This is one of the heroes of that era, man.
No lie, man.
Right.
That's no lie. And
like he's about to say right now, you can get back in that car right now. Get back in that car.
Man, I swear, we must have played that week. That first week, we played 6 gigs in these places that you would never know that they were even places, but they'd be like a building out in a field or something, and you'd go there. There'd be a guy taking tickets. There'd be 600 screaming 30-year-old ladies in that room, just screaming, and hardly any guys. Wow. Like Lattimore was the guy, man. He was like, he could draw a women's crowd. It was Teddy Pendergrass level stuff.
Wow.
I mean, just like crazy. And his songs are always built about a lot of his songs are about how he as a man has messed up.
Oh wow.
You're like and she told me, and I said, honey, and like he goes through this litany of things in this one song, honey, I lost my job. You locked the door, and I don't have a job, and I've got to get in, and I got to get in, and I need to be with you and all this stuff. And and she says, my give a damn done gave out a long time ago. It's that kind of stuff, and these women would just go crazy for it. It's like he's validating their concern.
I just feel like this cat is just writing down that information that's happened to him. He's just
exactly.
Like, this is a song.
This will be another good
Right,
song.
this will be another one.
You know.
Man.
But yeah, he was great. It was a great pleasure. I learned a lot just from listening to his stuff and watching him perform. He was just great. And
what happened after that? What
after
when the
that,
band broke up?
but after that band left, I came back to Atlanta and started playing around, and I was playing at different places. I got do y'all know the singer Alan Harris? He's a singer, jazz singer he lives in New York now. And he's got some notoriety now, but he and I were playing in a band in Atlanta together, and it was called Joint Effort. Okay. And Jerome Olds came out and heard us. We were playing down on Stewart Avenue, and Jerome Olds heard us, and he liked us, and he hired us away from the band, and we started playing with him and a drummer named Mike Napodi from Atlanta, and we had a band, and then after Alan left that band, Barry Richmond joined the band. This is like 1979, maybe. Wow. We opened for Hall & Oates at the Agora Ballroom. We did some really cool stuff. And we traveled the world with a bunch of different Broadway casts with a company called Great Resorts who did the I Love New York promotional campaigns all over the world. And then Jerome and I went to New York, and we started playing a bunch of gigs in New York. Scott Meter was in the band at the time. Clark Sullivan was in the band at the time. And Jerome and I wound up moving up there for 2 years. We played all over and met 1 million people and played with a bunch of people. One night, this lady comes up to us and goes, my boyfriend, or is it husband, I forget which, he really likes you guys, and he plays the saxophone, and I think he might want to sit in because he comes in and listens to you guys when he gets off work a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, cool. Well, I had whatever, So we're playing. It's a place called The Front in the Village. All of a sudden, Jerome walks up to me. He's, Tommy, this is David Sanborn. Oh, and wow. I said, so I said, do you want to sit in? He goes, yes. I said, okay. So that's who she was talking about. Sanborn used to come in and listen to us and have a drink when he would get off work. He comes in, he sits in. Well, what he did, I went to the bathroom immediately and was, preparing to play like a long set. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, I'm in the bathroom and I hear this saxophone wailing by itself in the middle of the room. So gotta hurry. And I ran back to the piano. It was a grand piano, very nice piano. And I started playing a song called The Rev, which was written by Hiram Bullock from David Sanborn's album, Promise Me the Moon, which I think was released in 1977. And Sanborn looked at me like, how do you know that? Because that album didn't sell. I don't think it sold very few units. And so I started playing, and he was like, so we played that song impromptu, and then he sat in with us for like the entire show, and we hung out. I don't know if I talked to him a few times after that, but we used to know Lou Soloff from Blood, Sweat, and Tears from New York. Lou. Yeah. Remember that? Yeah. Did you know Lou?
I knew Lou, and then his nephew Brandon Soloff isn't like used to play and stuff like that. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Lou's parents, I believe, owned the Coach and Six, which is a big restaurant back in the day. Right. There it is, Promise Me the Moon. That's a good song.
Lou also taught Wynton Marsalis some stuff too.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he plays the trumpet solo on Spinning Wheel by Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which is a whole nother story we're fixing to get to.
Okay.
We came back to Atlanta after we played in New York for quite a while. Oh, and Neil Giraldo, Pat Benatar's husband and musical director and guitarist, took us in the studio and recorded a bunch of demos with us. We played at Catch a Rising Star, and Rick Newman owned that club. And Rick wanted to sign Jerome and me to a management deal.
Oh, wow.
For reasons that I will not divulge, we did not sign the contract. And we were also asked, as a result of being at that club, to sign a publishing deal with a guy named Chris Blackwell, not our Chris Blackwell, but a guy named Chris Blackwell with Virgin Records. He was like the head guy. He wanted to sign Jerome and me to a publishing deal. And for reasons that I will not go into, We didn't sign that deal either.
I can almost hear
I'll
Jerome.
tell you guys
Hey
on
man,
camera.
hey man, we can't sign that deal. I can
I'm
hear
like,
Jerome.
So anyway,
Can't sign that deal.
tens of thousands of dollars later, anyway, we eventually split from New York, and having made a million contacts that we didn't keep up with because, heck, I'm 23 years old. This stuff is going to keep happening to me for the rest of my life. It's never going to end. I don't need to keep any of these. So anyway, Jerome and I came back to Atlanta, and we started playing again with Scott Meter and Clark Sullivan and a fellow named Ricky Pierce, who was a great rock and roll songwriter. And one night I was playing, we were playing at a place called Chaps, where I got to play and sing I Go Crazy while Paul Davis was actually in the room.
Oh, wow.
I was like, whoa. And at the end of it, he said, well, Tom, that just goes to show you, I think I probably wrote a pretty good song there because I did it in my more traditional style and you did it in your more sophisticated jazz kind of style. That shows me I wrote a pretty good song right there. That was Paul Davis. That's how he talked. But it's a great song, and I got to perform it for him. But one night we were in the same club, and I announced to the crowd, we're going to do an original song that I wrote now. And I don't know why we're going to do it because nobody ever requests it and nobody ever applauds for it. And so nobody really seems to like it. But we're going to do it anyway. And so we did the song. And after the song is over, I turned to my right and there's this person standing there and he says, my name's Al Cooper and I want you to know I love that song.
Wow.
And I was like, Al Cooper, what are you doing in town? I was very excited. That's a childhood icon for me because I had the Super Session album with Stephen Stills and Mike Bloomfield. I was a Blood, Sweat, and Tears fan, and that was his band. And he had played in all that Bob Dylan stuff. He'd been the organist, and he had the Blues Project. So he was he's a cultural icon to me. Right. And he wound up. We hung out with him all the time. He hired me to play piano on a Johnny Van Zant band album. He's the guy whose brothers were in Lynyrd Skynyrd and 38 Special. And so he was the little brother, and now he's the lead singer for Skynyrd. So I got to play piano on this record by Johnny Van Zant, and Al Cooper hired me to do that, and he took us to Los Angeles, where we auditioned for every record company in the entire world, and for reasons that I'm not going to go into here, that didn't happen. Okay, and so then we came back to Atlanta. Jerome left the band within about a year. And then I took the band over, basically, but it was actually our band. It was Bill Kaler on saxophone and a second keyboards and vocals. Allison Prestwood on bass, the great bassist who was the bassist on George Benson's most recent album. Oh, wow. Believe it or not. It's incredible. She's played with everybody up in Nashville. And Scott Meter, that was the band when we first started.
So this is the
Varsity.
Is this
Tom Grose and the Varsity? Yeah, okay. Tom Grose and the Varsity. Okay. And we went on Star Search, and we had our music played on 94Q and Jazz Flavors with the great Russ Davis, who, even though our stuff was more of a cross between Hall & Oates and Huey Lewis and the News and whatever other influences that were big at the time that we brought to bear from our own perspective, he still played us on his Jazz Flavors show, which is more, it's a precursor to the smooth jazz format now. But he was playing, Pat Metheny and David Sanborn and Brecker Brothers and Jeff Beck and stuff like that. But I guess it got dwindled down to being smooth jazz. But that was the genesis, I think, of that, because it became a 94Q's programming every night, 7 nights a week after a while. And we were on the radio all the time. So we were able to amass a good following at the clubs we played. And we were on Star Search, which was the sort of the American Idol of its day back in the 80s. And as a result of that, I was on a TV show that starred Ben Vereen called You Write the Songs, which was a star search for songwriters. Wow. And it only lasted 1 year, and it came on at 1:30 in the morning in Atlanta, so nobody I knew ever saw the show. but it was still a cool thing. It had the same grand prize as Star Search. It was a pretty good payday.
Wow.
And then after that, we did the first NBA rock and roll video for the Atlanta Hawks called "Nothing Can Stop Us." We were Atlanta's Air Force, and we were playing under a basketball goal while Tree Rollins and John Concack and Antoine Carr and Dominique Wilkins dunked on us. That was basically we looked like children. We were so small compared to these guys.
Is that like when Tom Chambers dunked on Mark Jackson for the
pretty
Knicks?
similar. Okay. Although this team had Spud
trying
Webb.
to get a visual.
This team had Spud.
Spud, man. Spud.
Unbelievable.
Man,
that guy. I mean, think about that guy.
5'7".
So yeah. So anyway, the song was called "Nothing Can Stop Us." We're Atlanta's Air Force, and it was commissioned to me by Turner Broadcasting, and they said something. Give us an idea of what you can do. So just an idea, and so I sent them an idea, and they said, "Don't change a thing. That's it." And so we went in the next that week and recorded it. I would have changed things, but they wouldn't let me change anything. I could have made it better, but they said, "No, we don't want you to. Don't change anything." Okay. It's a lot of guys that are in positions like that can make decisions for you that maybe you weren't able to do your best, but you still had to complete the work, and they wanted it the way they wanted it. So, I mean, these kinds of things just kept happening, and eventually they stopped happening. Here's when the Varsity stopped. Scott Meter left the band, and so that sort of was the end of that, as far as I was concerned. And but we had good successes. We played all over. I did a thing with the Atlanta Ballet during this period of time called "Rockin' to the Point," and the choreographer was Louis Johnson from the Dance Theater of Harlem, who did Pearly and The Wiz and all these other great movies, and stuff on Broadway. So he was a choreographer, and I wrote the music, and it was very interesting because I had presented him with some music to do some choreography to, but with the understanding that I was going to be changing the music later because I'd sent him existing music that was on a CD that we had already released, but he went ahead and choreographed to that music. And so I didn't want to, because we were going to re-record that score. I mean, the score for that ballet. And so I wanted to do different music. So I had to go back and rewrite the music to his steps. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I went back and I wrote a whole brand new, like I had less than a week to do this in, and I had to go back and rewrite the entire ballet to choreograph to his steps. Like, okay, he's this many steps. I got to write this many bars. This is what I've got to do. It was, and so we got it done, and we performed it during 3 different seasons of the Atlanta Ballet. Crazy. It was very successful. But when Scott Meter left the band, I kind of took a bunch of time off, just started playing. I went down to Key West and played with a band called the Out of Hand Band, and then just a bunch of different things that got me to where I am today, wherever that is. I don't really know where that is, but I do know that I'm continuing to write a bunch of music, and I'm continuing to gig as much as I possibly can. At some point, all of that youthful stuff stops, and you got to start being creative and try to find ways to make your music mean something to somebody. And who knows if I've been successful at all, but I certainly would like to. I think that Tyrone, I think that what you do is really helpful because you're really contributing to people's minds, to be able to teach at a world-class university because of your skill set and your degree. Do you have a degree in or a master's degree? What is the degree that you have?
I have a master's degree in jazz education. Yeah, jazz performance from jazz studies from Georgia State University.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. Did you know my mom? She was in the office at Georgia State back when Steve Winnick was there and some other guys.
Was it Kay?
No, Joanne Gross was her name, but you are probably too young for her.
Okay, yeah.
But she was in that back office over to the left when you first walk in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But my mom was she helped everybody with their curriculum and everything.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
But yeah, so I knew a lot of those people. I went there for a minute, but I didn't ever finish. I've often thought this is something that I would like to do if I didn't have to deal with core curriculum. I don't know if I know that all colleges still have that, but right now I can go to college for free if I want to because I'm over 65.
Wow, I didn't know that about you, but you could.
You can't do that
We'll
now.
take you at Kennesaw. Come on, man.
Hey, man, I'll come study with you.
Mutually.
Hey, man, gotta learn.
Right.
Always like to be learning if I possibly can. But it's go ahead.
Piano is one of those instruments that is so much going on. It's highly visual. You can see where you're going. But I mean, in the Mike Veal band, I came and checked you guys out. And I was just amazed at you're playing parts. You're playing the keyboard part. You're singing background parts. It was just amazing to see you in that element that a lot of people can't do. So, I mean, you're a professor in your own right when you're doing stuff like that, because, I mean, you'd have to really study to do that. The coordination it takes, the learning of the sounds, the learning of the lines. Keyboard players don't learn all that stuff, but then you're singing with all that. You guys play some stuff that's got some complex rhythmic stuff happening, and then you're doing the background vocals as well. It's
the
crazy.
Horn parts and the horn
exactly
parts.
that all that's going on, and I'm like, I say to myself, my brother told me one time, he sent me this meme about every musician everywhere is looking like at a gig, put me in, like, kind of thing. So when you walk into a place and you see a situation, I'm like, I hope Tom never calls me to sub for this gig, because this is a lot,
Man, you would kill it though, wouldn't he, Chris? He would.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You don't want to hear me singing the background parts. I'll be like, don't you want somebody to love?
Great slick.
Right.
Yeah, man. But
well,
yeah,
man,
I mean, you did sit in that one time and just knocked everybody's socks off.
Thank you for your help on that song too, which I didn't know, but that was cool.
Yeah, man, you killed it. Soloing on changes that I think we're doing 1, 6, 4, 5 changes, and this guy made it sound like McCoy Tyner or something, man. It's like just nailing it.
Beautiful.
I don't know if you like McCoy. I hope that was a compliment.
McCoy. Yeah, McCoy's my guy.
McCoy's amazing, and I love him, and learned a lot by listening to him. But it's mostly a sound for me. It's less of a technique, because there's so much pentatonic stuff happening.
It is. It's so powerful, but it's like McCoy is, like you said, a pentatonic scale is like major thirds. What was that?
Exactly. I mean, where is he?
Right,
and the thing that's interesting to me too about him is that it seems to me, from the way that I listen to him, I never have learned anything off a transcription that I've done or anybody else's, but he will stay in the same key with his right hand pentatonically, and shift
the left hand. Yep.
Shift the left hand chromatically, or stepwise, or leaps.
Well, Coltrane taught him to play like that. He didn't play like that before he was with.
But he's
Coltrane.
not changing with the chord that he's playing, like the fourth. Like he play a G, C, and an F. If he goes up to a B flat, an E flat, and an A flat, he's still like playing some C minor pentatonic stuff. It's like, and that's what gives it that. There's a wholeness to it. For years, I would shift my scalar, in arpeggiated harmonic sense in my right hand to match what's going on with my left hand. But McCoy seems not to do that often.
Doesn't care about that.
He doesn't care about that. Is that right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. No. Yeah.
I'm glad to finally get confirmation of this from an actual educator, jazz educator, because he seems like he's just, man, I could just sit here and learn from this.
Yeah, it's
but
just I'm going to superimpose my structure over this structure. It doesn't matter what this is. This is my structure.
Got it. Yeah.
But
and not change keys.
Right. right.
Not move with the harmony. It's like, what?
Right.
It's a completely new concept especially when you're talking about having somebody who transcribed Bloom Dito by Charlie Parker, and going through all those machinations of different chord changes and how things relate to each other, and the approaches that you use to get back. McCoy didn't do it. He was just I know he had to have been able to play that stuff because you can't,
He
you know,
played
you
it.
don't. But I guess sometimes being progressive means losing some of the wonderful musical values that transcribed earlier, so
But
that
I wonder if you
transpired
knew
earlier.
this.
Traditions, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you
Losing
know Miles
traditions.
Davis told Coltrane that he didn't think McCoy Tyner was a good piano player and he shouldn't be in his band?
You know what I heard? I heard that in Miles, he said he thought that he used to love McCoy's playing, but he thought he lost his touch playing with Elvin. He said that Elvin was playing so hard and so loud that McCoy had to play so hard to hear himself that he lost his ability to like pull the magic out of a piano. And if you listen to McCoy, it does sound like he's beating
But
the
it's a
hell out of it,
powerful
man.
group, though. I mean, it fits the group. I mean, Elvin, like you put Tommy Flanagan in that group, it wouldn't work.
No.
Or you put another drummer like Max Roach in that group, it doesn't work. It's just
No.
it doesn't.
You're right.
Yeah,
Jack DeJohnette, maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
But
Yeah,
Jack's drums are amazing sounding to me. I mean, every time I listen to him on anything, it sounds like his drums are like a different breed of drum kit than everybody else of the period.
Group too, Jack DeJohnette with everybody, but Jack DeJohnette and what's my man who plays bass?
Reggie.
Yeah, and Dave Holland and Jack DeJohnette is a thing. And also now I'm drawing a blank. With Keith Jarrett.
Yeah. In the Miles bands, you mean?
Yeah. But it's
didn't
like
Chick and Keith play in the same band for a minute, and John McLaughlin and those guys.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And Zawinul and Chick and Herbie, as we all know, are all in the same band for In a Silent Way, which is like the greatest album there ever was.
Now, you and Chris, have y'all played together a lot? Like I've seen y'all in the Mike Veal band, but I thought that's a good marriage. But I've never seen you guys play in other iterations before. Have y'all played before a lot together?
I don't think so. I mean, we may have, but if so, I wasn't very memorable. To me, no. I playing with Mike is such a gas, because. Like I say, I don't know anybody with his repertoire who is able to do what he does.
Yeah.
And Chris and I and Chris Blackwell and Greg, we try to provide the best backing that we can for him. It's kind of, because the show really is about Mike, but we express ourselves as well, but we do it through Mike.
Right.
It's like we try to funnel everything through him, and it works that way. But I've never played with Chris like in a bona fide jazz situation. Did you ever sub for Rupert's, Chris, when I was in the band?
I played with you a couple times in Rupert's.
Okay. But that gig, that's like
it's a different
fill in the blank kind of a gig.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's great players again, wonderful guys like Brian Lopes, who I know
Lopes.
And Carl and Mark Haynes and Joe Rita and John Chalden, Carl Liberator and Kevin Hyde, who plays with Randall Brown.
Was in that band too.
He is in that band.
Still in it.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I haven't seen Carl in years, man.
Man, he's great too. Great player. And Kevin Hyde, who plays with Randall Bramlett, is the trombone player for them. So they got a lot of good talent in that group. But anyway, I just wanted to say that about how we approach our musicianship via Mike, because you got to do it differently. You can't do it the same way every time.
Right.
Because if you in every band,
right,
like in a Joe Granston band, I don't know if it's the same thing. I don't know, but he's, he does his thing so well. And the way I look at it, my job when I play with the Mike Veal band, my job is to make Mike look good, and it ain't hard because he already looks good. Right. So what you do is you tailor yourself to the front man's needs.
Right, that's right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Right.
If anybody's listening out there, that's the advice that you have to have. It's not about you being a star. you're going to star in your role anyway, you know. But if you have to seem like you have to, you know, play over a person and not support or undergird what's going on, you're not doing your first job.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
Support is, you know, especially in Mike's band, because it's can go anywhere at
And it
any
does.
time.
And it
And
does.
you have a split second to figure out, okay, I'm in this lane. Okay, I'm in this lane. Okay, I'm in this lane.
And the money could be contingent on you switching lanes too.
Yep.
Like the money being better is in y'all ability to say, oh, we're going to do Earth, Wind, and
because
Fire tune.
the key to
or
that,
Steely
the key
Dan.
to playing that gig is you're playing to the request of
Right.
what people throw at you. So a lot of people
Right.
think it, you know, it's this kind of shtick thing, but it's really, I found personally because it's such a challenge.
Exactly.
It's such a challenge that you kind of have to take it. You have to sit in that fire and figure out, can I do this with 10 seconds to figure out?
But people don't know the trust that you guys
happen.
have with each other as well. The trust and the communication. Like I've seen it was like, yo, y'all pull out your phones, listen real quick. And Tom's like, man, I'm picking this up. And I see Chris like Blackwell, like figuring out the riff, whatever. And 5 seconds, y'all into it. And then y'all look at key spots and like, hey, bro, is this where the bridge goes? And Tom was like, I'm gonna show you where it's at. But you know, it's none of that talking out loud. It's something another musician has to observe and see what's going on, you know?
Yeah, the communication and the eye contact should be there. It needs to be there anyway.
Right.
You gotta have it. And the thing is, man, to me, it's a lot more of a challenge than it is to know sort of what you're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take out my headphones and plug my phone in because I wasn't fully
battery,
yeah. I wasn't at 100% when I started. I thought I was. I hope this doesn't come off as unprofessional for your show. Hang on one second.
So while he's getting together with
Can you guys still hear me?
We can hear you. You blacked out, but we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I blacked out. Okay, I'm gonna try to plug myself back in now. Just gotta find my
from Nia Tate, whoever that is.
This is a producer.
Sure. You know who that is?
World class producer. I know Nia Tate.
You know Nia Tate? You know
I
her?
know Nia Tate. Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. It's famous in Dahlonega this weekend. I heard this past weekend.
Hey guys, hang on. Guys, you go about your business. I'll be right back. Can I have just like 2 seconds, or is this gonna
do your thing, man? We got
ruin your show?
Do your thing.
Okay. I gotta find out a way to get this done. Hang on.
Man, so
he'll be back, ladies and gentlemen.
He definitely will be back.
Rebooting.
This is
just as a joke.
To get some words in.
This is my wife, this is her alter ego. Now so I have been telling her about this band.
Right.
And I can't remember if I told you. So we were playing down in Macon at this place called Grant's Lounge, which is a historic club in Macon, Black owned. I'm not sure who owns it now, but this cat Grant, who was a musician himself, started this club. And what was really cool about learning some of the history, it was really one of the only clubs back then that white and black musicians would play at. Nice. So the Allman Brothers used to come and hang out there and sit in. They got a house, B3 there. Oh, wow. But anyway, so we were playing down there, and my wife came down to take some pictures and stuff like that. And she had, never heard of the band, but I had been telling her about the band. And so, she requested That's the Way of the World, Earth, Wind, and Fire, which those guys just murder, you know, Tom and Mike both on vocals. But hearing, I think we did a what else did we do that night? Maybe some Johnny Guitar Watson, some
Oh wow, nice.
you know, some real like kind of deep funk soul stuff that
Right.
you don't hear a lot, along with Allman Brothers and some of the other rock stuff that we normally do. But she was just like, man, that's incredible that they can go from
Bruh.
so many different genres and really not and do them well. It's not like
It's
you're
not
just
easy, bro. It's not
playing,
easy.
you know, it's not like you're playing at the song, which is what a lot of people do, you know, where it's bona fide karaoke.
Right,
It's
right,
like,
right.
you know, it's like the feeling of the song, the lyrics, the phrasing of whatever's happening,
Yeah.
you know, the groove, you know, it's like it's all there. And if it's not there, you're gonna have some people looking at you
Right.
because you're expected to play the song the way the song was made to be played. Now there's certain things where we'll kind of stretch on something or we'll open something up, but for the most part, it is played as they used to say, like the record.
So
You know,
I imagine the first time you did a gig, you had to be mentally exhausted after doing that gig.
I was in shock the first time I played with it because I had gone to see that. We're talking about the Mike Veal band for those that don't know, but
Right.
I had been checking them out because when I would play at the Ritz on my way home, I would stop by because they were playing at a place called Fuzzy's on North Druid Hills.
Okay.
So I would take North Druid back and I would stop there. I would catch like the last set or something like that.
Right.
So I had already been checking the band out, and you know, and then our good mutual friend Jack Jones joined the band and started playing drums with them. So we became friends and stuff like that. So he started asking, you know, I would go out and check them out and hear the band. And so I kind of had an idea of what I was, you know, and I was like, but at the same time, I was like, man, they're playing like right up my alley in terms of classic rock, classic funk, classic R&B. You know, some of the stuff it's you can't know every song and you can't maybe have heard every song, but a lot of it does come back to, man, just when you were listening to the radio as a kid or listening to the radio on in your dad's station wagon on the way to whatever. And these songs come on and you've heard the song. So
I feel that's easier for a drummer than it is for a keyboard player. Like,
well, it probably is because, you know, but as a drummer, I still have to pay attention to all the robot, but yeah, you guys have to know the exact but you could listen to something, you know what I'm saying? Like you could hear something take 5 minutes to listen to something, and then you could kind of be like, oh, okay, I kind of got this, you know, I kind of figured it out, which is what happens a lot of times is
we see you there.
As Tom's said, you know, you can't know every song, you can't know everything, but you have some sort of, you know, your ear has sort of has heard it before. I mean, there's songs where Mike will call a song and you'll see Tom just kind of pause for a second because it's like you got to kind of go through that Rolodex of like, okay, and then there'll be something where he'll kind of have to listen to, because it's like you sometimes you just can't hear everything off the top of your head.
And sometimes you're like, I know this section, but where does that bridge go? And you forward to the bridge and like, oh yeah. That's where it goes.
And that's I think the real beauty of playing with that band is we want to get it right. They want to get it right. They don't want to like, oh, okay, we'll kind of play at it, or we'll kind of, you know, it's about trying to get it right. And and that's the beauty of the challenge of playing in that band. I don't know what you think about that, Tom, but I mean, that's what I think, you know.
Am I on?
Yes, you are.
I'm back. Okay, man. Sorry about that.
No, that's cool.
Right.
Everything just went dark. I didn't know if I was alive.
Right.
But yeah, it's true. It's exactly what I think about it. And you know, you can't, like you say, you can't know everything. And sometimes we'll learn a song wrong. Like, for example, in a previous incarnation of the Mike Veal Band, there was some stuff that we learned that, like Barry Thrasher, rest his soul, great guitar player. Bless his heart, loved him, loved working with him. But we would learn songs sometimes in a key that was not record key. And so we'd build an entire arrangement. I would go home and know the key that he was doing it in, you know, on a night, and then I'd learn it. I'd work it up. I'd write it out. I'd write out the chord, the keyboard part. And from that, I could extrapolate what was supposed to be going everywhere else. And so we'd learn the song in the wrong key. And then another guitar player would come in, you know, and Barry might not be there for a gig. And we'd be like playing a song in like a key that was a half step away from it. And it's a song that everybody else knows in this other key. And for guitar, it's hard to change that stuff up. Right. We did Hotel California for years in A minor. The song's in B minor. Right. And every other guitar player plays it in B minor. Nobody plays it in E minor. It's got very specific guitar solos at the end that are iconic that everybody wants to hear. And on guitar, as you know, for a rock guitar player, it might not be the easiest thing in the world to transpose on the fly. Right. Because it's all about shapes and patterns and things like that on the neck. Thankfully, we've got great guitar players that play with Mike, you know, always. Blackwell, you know, and his subs have been everybody from Nick Johnson to Jody Worrell to Steve Cunningham, you know, those guys. You know, so anyway, enough about me.
Can I play a quick game with you, man?
Am I going to lose? I'm going to lose.
No, it's called Would You Rather.
Okay.
Would you rather play with a drummer that rushes or with a drummer that slows down?
I would rather play with a drummer that rushes if I had to choose between those two.
Cool. All right. Would you rather play with a bass player who's really good but talks incessantly a lot, or a bass player that's so-so but doesn't say anything?
Define incessantly.
It's like, yo, Tom, you sound so good, man. Boy, we were kicking, weren't we? I can't wait till we play the next song. What are you eating for the break, man? Man, I can't wait to sit down because I want to talk to you about some stuff on the break, man.
Hey, man, what are you doing on the break? I got a couple of ideas.
Right, exactly.
I think that it would depend on what the incessant was about, because if the incessant was about neediness, I thought we sounded good on that. You know, I thought we did a good job on, you know, when he obviously didn't.
Yeah, what do you think about that lick that I played?
Exactly.
Like that?
It depends on the gig too, man. I swear, if I'm playing Weather Report, I gotta have a good bass player no matter how good they talk.
Right.
Or how much they talk.
So you're gonna go with the good bass player, great bass player.
I'm gonna go with the good bass player. But he's got to be not a busy guy. He's got to be the good bass player that plays everything that is necessary. Only
he'll do whatever you want, but he's gonna talk the whole time.
As long as there's got to be some means of escape. But yes, I would choose the good bass player every time.
Okay.
But you know what? If the bass player's wrong, the whole band's wrong, as you know.
That's true. Okay. Would you rather play with a guitar player that only plays lead or only plays rhythm?
Boy, that's a hard one, man, because here's the problem with that. I also play rhythm. As a keyboardist, I also play rhythm. Right. I play rhythm keyboards. Right. So I think I'd rather play with the guy who only plays lead because I can provide the rhythm. Just stay out of my way. You know what I'm saying? Let's not play any clashing chords. You fill around what I'm doing and we'll be good.
All right, here's the last one. Okay, this is a doozy. I saved the best for last. I should ask Chris these questions too. All right. Would you rather have a 6-hour gig that doesn't play well with great musicians, or a 1-hour gig that plays extremely well with the sorriest musicians you've ever played with in your life?
Oh, man. That is cruel. Are there breaks on the 6-hour gig or not?
There's a little bit of breaks, but I mean, when we say the money is bad, the money is not.
Two 12-minute breaks.
2 12-minute breaks. We'll go with that.
Oh, Tyrone. Sika, I'm gonna sound like a mercenary if I take an hour gig that pays great. Like how great?
Let's pay $700.
$700 for an hour. Yeah. I'm taking it.
Chris, you?
Oh, I got to take that. I got to take the 1 hour. I'll deal with, I mean,
because we're professionals.
It's only an hour. You know what I mean?
We're professionals first and foremost.
Had you flipped it, but had you flipped it and said it was an hour with great musicians but no pay, or 6 hours with the sorry cats for, now that's a question.
Right.
That's a question. That one you definitely have to think about.
So I had
if you flipped it, hold up. If you flip it, so it's 6 hours, horrible
for great money with terrible players.
Great money.
Right, but terrible
or 1 hour killing cats, but no pay.
That seems like that's too easy though.
I'd take the no pay for sure.
I'd take the no pay as well.
No pay.
No pay.
There's no way.
Hey,
so it's not all about the money. See, it's not all about the money. I would rather play with great players for nothing than with no playing guys for a bunch of money under any circumstance.
That's 6 hours. That 6 hours could take something off your life. I don't care how much you're getting paid. Oh man,
that's right,
bro.
That's right.
There was this musician that called me up, and he had the worst of both scenarios. He's like, "Hey, bro, can I got a gig for you, man?" He said, "One gig pays $150 for 4 hours. Then we go pick up our stuff, bring it to the next gig. That's 4 hour $150. That's $300." I was like, "Whoa, what?" You put two of them 4 hour gigs together, you get $300. I was like, no.
Man, we had a great situation one time. We were playing on St. Patrick's Day. For those of you who weren't around 20, 30 years ago, St. Patrick's Day used to be the biggest night out for amateurs drinking, with the exception of Halloween, for any gig. And so we were playing at a nightclub with the Mike Veal band, and this club owner wanted us to play an extra hour for $50 total for a 5-piece band. Okay? No. And so we're like, yeah, you're crazy. He goes, oh, guys, come on, man. I've got a full house. It's packed in here. You got to help me out. You got to help me out, man. Because we're like, no. And so he goes away. And then he comes back. Man, come on, guys. You got to help me, please. I got this packed room. And we're like in the process of packing up. No, we're not going to play for that. $50, $10 a man for an hour? No. And so then he comes back and he says, okay, guys, look, let me put it like this. First of all, if you do this for me, you're going to make what you're already making, and you can keep your tips, and you'll get $10 extra per man. So it's like he didn't bring anything new to it. He just described it differently again. You can keep your tip. First of all, I told the story to Jody Worrell. He's so funny. I said, so you're going to make what you're already making? And Jody said, okay, so that's not off the table. You're going to make what you're already making, and you can keep your tips. Oh, thank you.
I didn't know that we weren't keeping them.
I was like, oh, wow, we get to keep this time. So anyway, yeah, that kind of thing. It's just crazy the stuff you go through as a working guy,
right?
As you both know.
Oh, my gosh. I'm sure we could do a whole episode just on that.
Yes.
In terms of just, the crazy gigs, the being shafted on what was supposed to be paid. You were talking about back when you were playing with Lattimore, man. I know that those cats had a whole different vibe in terms of like getting their money, trying to get their money,
And it was
there
all
dues to be
about the
paid.
manager. It was all about the manager. It wasn't Lat, because he was taking Lat's
Right.
money and distributing it for everybody.
Right.
Freaking
And it was
managers.
like it wasn't Lat's fault.
Right.
Freaking manager.
So yeah, but the guys in the band are like, in fact, Lattimore's own brother told me, Tom, when you got in the band, I thought it was going to be different. But it's just the same.
Surely they're not going to act like that with a new band
because they're
member,
bringing in
right?
the white cat, like they're bringing in the one white cat in the band. Is that why?
I was like the second white cat because Ladd had a guitar player, and I was like, he had another white guy, and it's because he had a song that was sort of a hit on the soul stations back in the day called "Redneck in a Soul Band."
Oh wow!
There's a redneck in a soul band. He's getting down. Always getting down. You remember that song?
This guy is writing from his life, whatever situation this cat is writing about.
Exactly. And what a life.
Band, there's a redneck in the band. Oh, that's a lyric right there.
Redneck in a soul band. And the guy who he wrote it about was a guy named Joey Murcia, who wound up playing with the Bee Gees down at Criteria in Miami, and he played with everybody. He's on a bunch of big records. But so when Joey left the band to just become a studio musician down at Criteria, a fellow named Ron Peterson joined the band, and he's one of the guys that I knew. And he actually was a redheaded dude. They called him, "Go ahead, Red, get down." But if you listen to Play That Funky Music, White Boy by Wild Cherry, is a direct ripoff of Redneck in a Soul Band. The idea, because it came afterwards, right? Like the very next year.
Wow.
Play That Funky Music, White. Redneck in a Soul Band is a good song, man.
Okay.
But anyway, that whole situation was not any reflection on Benny Lattimore, because Benny Lattimore is a gentleman, a scholar, and a great dude, and just a wonderful musician and singer.
Yeah,
what can I say about him?
Yeah, man.
So
wow. Well, listen, man, we could. I mean, this is just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
We got to have you back. We're gonna. There's so much more to talk about, and because I got ideas, but we'll be here all night if we keep
right.
And I got to get my walking in. I got to get my steps in, man, before midnight.
Tom asked me, he's like, man, so how long am I going to be on? Like maybe 45 minutes. I go, dude, once we get talking, it just flies. And right now we're at an hour 24, and it's just like we just started, and that's how you know it's good.
Well, man, I really appreciate you guys listening to me for this long. I mean, I can't imagine what that must have been. Next time we come on, you guys got to talk more so that I can figure out more about how to be more of an academic success and a greater person in
well, real quick. Is that ever something that you really considered that you would want to do, is teach?
I never have
at a university. Okay.
I never have, because to me, some sort of crazy curriculum addendum, maybe like rock and roll, because there's a whole genre of rock that is now dead. Right. And it's improv. The whole Allman Brothers, the whole and not necessarily just the hippie stuff, but Cream, Hendrix, the Allman Brothers, even the Doors to a degree, as primitive as that was. There's a lot of that rock and roll improv and how to play together within a rock and roll context. Other than people who are deadheads, they don't really know, and people who are severe Allman Brothers disciples. By the way, I get to play with people who played with Greg Allman a lot. And I know them. Tommy Talton and Randall Bramlett and Bill Stewart has been a part of it, a band called the Greg Allman Laid Back Legacy. And these guys played on the Greg Allman Laid Back album and were a part of that tour in 1973. And in Southern rock circles, that album is a very important solo album by Greg Allman. It sold a lot of copies, and it sort of showed his more laid back, soulful side as opposed to just his blues rock chops,
Well, I'll
and
say this,
songwriting.
if I ever am, if I ever over a university and a curriculum, both you and Chris are hired because you don't feel like the degree is the thing that does it. It's you're a true practitioner of the art form. So that is your education. Like you think about it, Bill Gates didn't graduate from college because he knew what the heck he was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Neither did Dr. Billy Taylor.
Yeah, right. So there's ways around that where it's called an artist in residence. You're an artist and you're in residence and you're teaching. So if I ever have a university, that is a class that needs to be had.
Wow, man, that's quite a nice thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever any way that I could develop something along the lines of what it takes to play rock and roll improv, it's a completely different animal than jazz, that's for sure.
Let's do it. Let's talk about that, what it would look like.
Okay.
While you're still young,
I'll do it while I'm still in my mid-60s.
right.
Youth. Youth.
Man.
Well, listen, man.
Chris Burrows, we got to go.
Man, we love having you, man. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna bring you back, hopefully multiple times. And
thank you, man.
I haven't talked piano chops. I haven't talked.
I know we haven't even talked. We haven't talked
shop.
We haven't talked Frank Zappa. We haven't talked Hall and Oates. We haven't talked Earth. We haven't even talked really
Beatles. We didn't talk Beatles.
Musicals, anything.
Yes.
Beatles. I love talking Beatles with musicians in their 50s. They're like,
right. Except for the fifth Beatle. I'll take the fifth Beatle, though.
You're 40-something, right?
We're not going to say what it is, bro.
I bet it's. I was thinking 43.
Don't give him that.
No.
He turned the corner.
I know Chris is 42.
Yeah, well,
bro.
yeah. I mean,
I'm off the corner, bro. That's how far I'm around that baby.
He turned the corner. It's
that don't crack thing.
But this gray is real, bro.
Oh.
So listen.
Yeah, man.
Big ups to Tom Grose. Big ups to Tom Grose for hanging out with us tonight. We will be at Tin Roof Cantina tomorrow night. Both of us with the Mike Veal Band from 8:30 to 12
till midnight.
Come out. That's on North Druid and Briarcliff. Come out.
That's
hang
right.
Out with this great band. And anything else you got, man? Are you playing Thursday?
I'm playing Thursday. Yes, thank you. I'm playing at their Gastropub in Brookhaven with Tony Hill and Scott Meter. We're doing and Scott's really taking it on the chin for us, but he's doing a very nice thing. He's playing a drum cat because the room is very, very small. And so there's, the ambience of the drums is something that the club owner was concerned about because every time he's had drums in there, he's had volume complaints. And we know there are ways around that. But, we wanted to show the owner, what is the possibility. And Scott was on board, man. And I know it's no fun to play a drum cat, but he nailed it, man. And we were able to play at a volume that nobody left because of the volume. The entire night. And Tony Hill playing. It's me and Tony Hill and Scott. And if you've seen Tony, he's also a great guitarist and a great singer and a great entertainer.
Great guitar.
So you're kicking bass and keys.
Guy.
I'm kicking bass and keys, yes.
Beautiful. Okay.
And singing.
Control. Ooh.
Yeah.
And my man Tony Hill can sing some Robert Plant.
He can.
Yes. He
can sing all that stuff.
He can sing.
He's phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'm gonna crash one of those gigs either tomorrow or Thursday. I'll crash one of them.
And then Friday,
we gotta do something where you guys got the keys set up and are going back and forth about some concepts too.
Let's do it.
Let's
do it, man. I will learn. I'll be the learning party on that one.
Lies and flies.
Tom Grose, thank you.
Thanks for the time, man.
Hey, man, we will see you tomorrow.
Have a good one, guys.
You too.
Peace.
Take it easy, Tom.
All right, brother.
Good one, man.
Yeah, man. We got some great friends in the in the city, man, and outside the city. We got some other people coming up too from outside,
Right.
but we got people here, man, that we need to showcase that just don't
Yes.
ever get a chance, you know,
Yeah.
and to speak up, and guys who have been everywhere, have done things, all kinds of things around the world, have have had record contracts, have played with, I mean, everybody's here, you know, it's just we're all trying to make a living now. And it's just the way of the world, man. Nothing, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Do you know this what we're doing is called oral history, bro? Like we're getting these nuggets that if it's not written down, it's going to be gone.
Right.
And just to hear about the different situations, some of that stuff is not written down. And so these things that we have that you're going to, have on YouTube, these are oral histories about Atlanta and other areas and stuff that people won't even know about unless they tune in. They can corroborate it with facts and stuff. But man, it's just a great thing to hear these stories and get educated about things that have happened,
Right. Exactly. And get firsthand information. So you're not getting what somebody wrote down on a piece of paper.
Right.
And there's no fact checking going on. So, but there's so many people that really have, they have a lot to share, and they have a lot to share. And there's a lot of people who want to hear that, we're in such a, we're in times where it's just like everything is about the next 30 seconds.
Right. Right.
Ain't no history in that.
No.
I mean, we all scroll, we all look at, but I don't remember. I'm not like, that's not a part of what I log in terms of my musical history.
No.
It's, it's become it's really kind of an epidemic, and we all are suffering from it, whether we like it or not. But those, the stuff that I do really love to follow are more of the historians, of people that are sharing things that, that happened and throughout the history of music, or what film, or, art, whatever it is. But ain't no history in the last 30 seconds.
Nope.
Nope.
So
anyway, we have had Kebby, Tom,
Al Smith.
Al.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kathleen.
Seth, Kathleen. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground in a short period of time. And next week, we will cover some more ground. Mark, yes.
Yeah. Seth Hendershot.
Seth. And next week we'll cover some more ground with Kari Grabal Simmons, y'all.
Wow.
So, Kari Cabral. I said Cabral.
Cabral, yep.
Who is we go way back with this cat, man.
I can't wait to see where he's going to be when he gives the interview, because you can't hold this cat down. You cannot hold him down.
This cat is he's a gentleman of not leisure, but you don't know where he's going to be.
He could be in Australia, bro, and he will tell
Paris, you. Could be in Australia. He could be in Munich.
He'll be like, "Hey guys, 6 hours over here," but
I mean, the cat could be in College Park for all you know,
and he could be in College Park. You'd be like, "I thought you was in Australia." Oh yeah, man, I'm back. Like, what?
Yeah. So if you guys don't know anything about Kyrie, he's a phenomenal cat who we have a deep relationship with for years. Great bass player, producer, curator.
That you ever meet.
And actually, was he in Miss Fish when you started?
He was not.
He had just left.
Yeah.
So but there's still that connection of we've played
Right.
in similar bands, same bands and
Right.
stuff. So yeah. So thank you all for joining in with us. My man has some paperwork that he has to
Turn on in.
has to get into. Again, the live these live streams they go directly onto YouTube now, and I'm actually looking at the YouTube. We have actually some people checking us out there, so that's good now that that's up and running.
Beautiful.
They're going to be under the live category. All the shows will be under the live category, and then our whatever our episodes of podcast will be in the channel category. So we're still kind of organizing that, but that's kind of how that's going to work. We are also on Facebook, like our Facebook page at Local Musicians XP, our Instagram page, and same thing, Local Musicians XP, YouTube, Local Musicians XP, etc., etc. So with that, you got anything else to add? Where you gonna be this weekend, man? You got anything?
Where am I gonna be? Oh, Callenwald Friday with Carla Harris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I will be out of town in Highland, North Carolina with the Mike Veal band.
Oh, the weather's gonna be beautiful up there. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah, it's really, really nice up where we're going. We played the same spot a couple of times. So
cool.
So that's gonna be cool. And then we didn't even talk about any football stuff, bro. You got anything you want to get off your chest, bro? You know, I was gonna try to get into it with Tom. With Tom a little bit.
I want to tell somebody to go, but I'm just gonna say go Tigers. I want somebody to go.
Where you want them to go, though?
I don't care where they go. They can go GAUX. GEAUX, go out of here.
Is that how you spell? That's how you spell go?
That's how we do go, because it's some of the French pronunciations have EAUX. So they'll say go.
Ah, okay. Yeah. I see. So
don't pull up a picture, bro.
But I'm just asking, are you
stalling so you can put up a picture, bro, to make me mad?
Are you looking? I'm just asking.
We inherited them from you, bro. From you.
Inherited from who?
From y'all. Y'all Notre Dame people, bro.
Oh,
you better
really?
Pull up a picture.
You inherited them?
Yes.
Ooh,
we got
this
them
cat right here.
That cat right
there. LSU
there,
shirt. Look at this, bro. NOLA.com. Where is he? Oh, they took him off, bro. They don't even want him. They don't even want him to.
Why would you come down here, bro? You should have stayed up there with them shenanigans, bro. Fake accents. I bet you can't eat a taste of New Orleans food, bro. I bet you it's too
spicy. Was raving about. That's the first thing he was raving about, though.
Really?
Was the food? Yes.
I thought he was gonna have heartburn or something, bro.
Man, he was talking about the food and all that stuff, man. It's just your coach.
You talk about the recruits. That's what you need to talk about.
That's your coach. That's your coach. Well, they're gonna have a sit down with him sooner. They're gonna have a sit down with him. It's not gonna be in his office. It's not gonna be in his. It's gonna be in the back of a shed somewhere.
right. With Mike the Tiger in the back.
With a cat with a pitchfork and another dude and say, "Listen here, coach. We gotta talk to you."
Gonna sound like Bobby Boucher on him. Hey, coach, I'm gonna need you to visualize, coach.
You could use Bobby Boucher right now. The way that defense is playing. Jokers gave up 700 yards to Ole Miss, man, on Saturday. How do you give up 700? Anyway, I digress. All right, I'm gonna leave my man alone. We will see you guys next week. I don't know what the heck is going on with our music and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna try one more time, but something is off.
I don't know.
I'm just gonna try it. We'll see you guys next week. Let's see if we can at least get the outro happening.